It's just going to be a really good... I don't... Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're doing my 24-hour readathon announcement. Although this readathon, it's a Tackle Your TBR readathon. It is very chill. I do these bi-monthly and the 24 hours I sleep. It's more that I just take one day to chill out and read. I suppose the time spent reading is closer to about 16 hours rather than 24, but it's more that I remind myself that one day every other month I set aside that time just to relax and read and make time for me. And you can do this in any way that you want. If you're a reader, then I would say take a day to chill out and read and tell people, nope, that's what I'm doing, it's your time. If you don't read, then just take a day for you to chill if you can, because that's one thing that we've got to remember is to put yourself first every so often. And that's what this readathon is all about, while tackling those troublesome TBRs, so the books that you need to read. I have 4 prompts. You can combine these prompts in any way that you want, or if you don't even want to use the prompts, you don't have to. Also, if you don't want to do this over one day, you don't have to. You could do this a week, a month, whatever takes your fancy. I like doing this as a day because that's what works for me. This readathon is going to be taking place on a Saturday for a change. It's actually going to be taking place on the 1st of April. The first time that is taking place over the weekend, which I'm really excited about. I also have a Discord channel if you would like to get live updates of what I'm reading and chatting amongst there. Other people tend to take part on different days and then I'll do little updates of what they're going to be reading. So if you want to join our little family over there, I'll have it all linked below. Let's just get straight into the prompts. So I have 4, they don't change anymore. I used to, for these readathons, change the prompts every single time, but it was getting a bit too much hassle, and the whole point of these readathons is to chill. I've chosen a book for each of these, but as I said, you can double up or do this in any way. Also, ebooks, audiobooks, everything counts. Whatever format you prefer reading in, that's perfectly fine. The first one is a very simple one, which is just to read a book that's on your TBR, and I have decided to go with Where the Drowned Girls Go by Seanan Maguire. This is the 7th book in the Wayward Children series and I'm really excited. I love the Wayward Children series. It's a portal fantasy series. It's darker, but it's beautiful and I love it. So we're following different children that stumble into different portal worlds, like Alice who fell into Wonderland, except we're seeing what happens to these children when they come back. What happens when you find your place that is so for you, that you become accepted. Everything about you is accepted. It's perfect, amazing feeling, but what happens when you come back? And what happens if that perfect place maybe wasn't for you and you don't want to go back? I love all the questions that it brings, and I like how Seanan Maguire in each book focuses on a different important topic. Some people don't like it because it can be quite blunt, but these are really, really short books. They're all novellas, a good reason as to why I chose it for a readathon, but I really like them for that. I just think they're lovely. So yeah, this is that book. I also have chosen very short books because in the past I've done it where I've given myself too much and can't read them all and it puts too much pressure. So these are nice and short. The next prompt is to continue a series or a book you're in the middle of reading, or interpret it however you want. You could just continue a book that you've already started. For me, I put continue a series because I am notoriously bad at continuing series, and I have gone with a manga, as I always do in every single one of these readathons, because I like changing up the format that I'm reading, and this is Tokyo Ghoul Volume 9. I started off really liking this series, but towards the end I haven't been gelling with it as much, so this is going to be a decider as to whether I actually carry on or not. I've got up to 11 volumes and there are 13, so it will be a decider as to whether I actually pick up the last 2 volumes or not. My partner does want to read this series, so I won't be unhauling it at all, but I am losing my love for this series. This is a series where we're following a main character who has 1 foot in the human world and 1 foot in the ghoul world. Ghouls look exactly like us, however they need human flesh to survive, and it does a really good job of questioning the dynamics between ghouls and humans and how they should be treated, and is it really their fault that they need human flesh to survive? It's just the way they need to live. And I think our main character having a foot in both worlds gives us a really good perspective of all of that. But as I say, the latter books have been a lot more focused on the violence side of things and losing some of that morality that I enjoyed in the first few books. So we're going to see whether I'm going to like this one. Then we have a book I keep putting off because, again, I am notorious for putting books off, for buying them and then taking ages to actually get round to reading them, and the one I've chosen for that is Mrs. Death, Mrs. Death, and that's by Selena Godden. This book, although it seems a bit more chunky, is actually 300 pages. It's going to be a really quick read because some of the some of the chapters are poetry, and so it's going to be really quick, and that's also why I've been putting it off, because I think it's going to be really beautifully written. If the title was anything to go by, it's going to be really lyrical, it's going to be a lot of fun with wordplay, and so that really intrigues me. I also love the concept that Death is an actual character in this and she's telling her story, but I don't get on with poetry that well. I've tried it a few times and it's not something I love, but I am going to give it a try. So I'm hesitant about this one. This TBR was definitely me pushing my boundaries for a couple of books that I haven't been as keen on, like as in I don't have the highest expectations of. I also think they could surprise me, and this is one that I'm hoping will do that. I know Christina read it, I'll have her channel linked below, and we have quite similar reading tastes. As much as she reads books outside of the genre I normally go for, when we do read the same book we tend to have very similar thoughts and opinions, and she didn't quite get on with this book. So that's actually what put me off from reading it. I was very excited before then, but I'm going to give it a try and just see whether I still agree with Christina, whether I like it a bit more, whether I can appreciate it for the wordplay and what it's doing, or whether I just end up going, no, it's not for me. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Let me know if you've read this one. This, I feel like, got quite a bit of hype because of the formatting of it, but then it's died down and I haven't really heard anyone talking about it. So it'd be really intriguing to see if you've read it and what you think of it. And the very last prompt is a short book. It was the shortest book on your TBR, but then I noticed that if I didn't get to that book, then every single time I did this readathon announcement, it would be the exact same book. So I've just gone for a short book, and you can interpret that however you want. For me, it's less than 50 pages. Or 50 pages or less, so a really short book. This time I have gone with something that is just ridiculously fun, and that's If You're Stabby by Kaz Windness. This is a book I picked up recently. If you've seen my other videos, you've heard me talking about it, but this is a compilation of different comic strips, and I think it's going to be really fun and easy to read. This is not going to take any time at all. I mean, it's that simple, but I'm really excited for it. I think the artwork is going to be really good, and again, a really good way to break up these books that I'm reading, because that's one thing that I have found, that if I'm reading one book in a full sitting, I can do it, and I have done it several times. If I'm enjoying a story, I really like it. However, if I have a book that I want to break up, I want to break it up with quick, easy things, but something that is so completely different to what I'm reading, hence the manga and this book. And I think it's just going to be a much better way of doing it. I've done these readathons a lot and I know what I'm like when it gets into reading. If I have loads of actual novels to read, unless they're rereads of favourites, I really struggle with it. I like breaking it up, basically, is what I'm saying. So we're going to start off the month of April with this readathon with quite a few short books, and it's just going to be a really good... I don't even know what happened there. But this is going to be a really good way to start the month, is what I was saying. And that's what this TBR readathon is all about, is just tackling those big TBRs, or just your TBR, regardless of sizing. But mine is a bit ridiculous, and I do have it filled with lots of little short stories like this. So this is a great way just to tick off a load of books and to tackle my TBR and get it down to a bit more of a manageable size. I say that and then I buy more books than I've read each month, but it's a never-ending battle with myself. I don't think I'm ever going to win it. But this readathon does help, and it makes me feel really accomplished, and I think doing this at the start of the month is going to be so much fun and really set the month off to a good start. So yeah, let me know if you're going to take part, what books you're going to read for it, and if you're not going to take part, then that's absolutely fine. Have you read any of these books, or have you done any readathons? You know, the usual stuff. How are you is basically what I'm saying, and let's have a chat. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. I think the emoji of the day, you know what, we're gonna have to go with a unicorn, because out of all of these books, I have to admit, I'm the most excited for this because I think it's gonna be absolutely silly and fun, although I am still really looking forward to Where the Drowned Girls Go. But let's put a unicorn for little Stabby here, and I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment to let me know that you're here. Those 3 things really help this channel out, so thank you so much. As always, my social media links and anybody I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next video.